everybody. It is a Tuesday. How about that? We're just doing these whenever we want anymore. It's good to have the content. I do still need to drop that piece though from last week.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?
Well, all right, everybody. You can see this show is about guitarist Sam Bam Koltun. Playing and paying them dues. That's right. He is all over it. I'll tell you what. You know what? He's with me right now. I'm going to bring him right on in. And we will be live right here. What is going on, Sam?
Hey, man. How's it going?
It's going great. It's great to see you again.
Oh, that's good news. That means you can hear me.
I can. I had not expected you to say that, but that is a perfect sign. That is definitely a perfect sign. And, you know, I got my shit together today, so this is great.
Oh, that's awesome.
How's everything there, man?
It's good. Enjoying the first day off in I don't know how long.
Wow.
So.
And I guess the weather is kind of cool out there, or is it warmer today?
No, it's nice. It's
Okay,
nice. I don't know. I was just outside and I don't even really remember. It's like 67. So it's
okay.
nice.
So, yeah, pretty mild for being, you know, out there.
Yeah. November. It's
yeah,
November
I know.
now. Yeah.
Is it usually like that out there? I mean, a lot of times, you know.
I can't remember. I wasn't here last November, and then
Well,
I
there you
can't
go.
remember the November before that.
There you go. I'm going to have to see if I can link you and my other friend up out there who does, he does R&B work out there.
Nice.
So, yeah, I'll have to see about doing that. Yeah, he's real good guy.
Nice.
So, hey, we're here to talk about what's happening tomorrow and the next day with Crossbone Skully. So, as I mentioned, I would love to have you on some more time so that I don't want to take up too much of your day. I know this show, getting ready for the show, you've got relaxing to do, stuff to do.
I don't have that much to do. It's cool.
Oh, well, good. There you go.
Yeah, no.
Oh, the hell with it. We'll talk for 3 hours. No.
Yeah, the work is all done. The work has been the last 2 weeks prepping and rehearsing, and but we just had our last day yesterday, and then we have the shows tomorrow. So
very cool. So I was trying to do some quick research too on the band. Then also I wanted to I'll bring this up. This is the album cover for the upcoming release that happens on the 22nd. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And it's a full album. Does it have 10 tracks on it, or?
I don't know.
Okay. No worries. No worries.
I just know the songs that I got sent to learn for the show.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let's see. It'll show the upcoming I think it's 13 songs.
13 songs. Okay.
13 songs.
All right. So I was also trying to get everything kind of figured out as to how many albums there are that are full length. Are there a lot of EPs within the catalog so far?
This is going to be the debut record. He's been putting out singles quite a bit, so there's quite a bit of so that it's kind of a similar releasing thing to what my band Budderside did, putting out a bunch of singles, and then kind of with each single it kind of became an EP. So you get the new song, and then the other ones are on there too.
Fantastic.
But yeah, it's a full length coming.
Yeah, it was kind of. Can you explain to me the title of The Boom Went the Boom?
I can't. I'll be honest with you. I can't explain much of anything other than the shows, who's involved with the shows.
Yeah,
and,
well, let's just go there. But when I read that, I'm like,
yeah.
Okay, wait, the boom went the boom. So anyway,
that's that's the mind of Tommy. So I don't it's a catchy song. It's got this cool little
It
thing, and
it's a great tune, yeah.
he had Phil Collen from Def Leppard play a
Yeah,
solo on that,
that's pretty wild.
and
Here's a photo. There you go.
there he is. There's Tommy.
Yeah. Now, then there you are with Anna,
Ah, yep.
and here we go.
Chris Wise.
There you go. Yeah, it's great. It's always great learning about all these new bands that I don't know about, which is really what's interesting about this project because there's a lot of art going on here. There's all kinds of stuff you can buy. He's very fortunate to be working with this artist that was able to. That's why I was confused because when you're looking at it online, there's all these singles that each one has its own artwork.
Yeah, I know that. I know because they were just discussing it the other day. I know that main artwork was done by, is his name Mark Wilkinson,
Yes.
the artist who did a lot of Iron Maiden stuff. So,
Okay.
um, and yeah, the record is Tommy working with Mutt Lang, producer Mutt Lang, and it's himself. And as far as the shows coming up, Tommy Henriksen, who is one of the guitar players for Alice Cooper's band, he's Alice Cooper's music director.
Wow.
This is Tommy's band where he is singing and fronting the project. And then you have for the shows, and then also on the record was Glenn Sobel, who's the drummer for Alice Cooper and also the drummer in Hollywood Vampires.
Okay.
And
Yes. Right.
then you have Chris Wise, who is the bass player in Hollywood Vampires, but he's also been in The Cult and been in Jerry Cantrell's band and been in Ace Frehley's band.
Wow.
And then myself on guitar and Anna Cara, who's a super talented female guitar player from the UK, who Tommy met and found through Instagram.
Wow.
She's on guitar. And I know that the record has Phil Collen guesting on a song. Another song has Nikki Sixx
Nikki
guesting
Sixx.
on bass. Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
And yeah.
That's cool. How do you think you and Anna match up on guitar? Is there what are your similarities? What are your differences?
It's really it's a cool match kind of from what from like the first little guitar run through we did of the set like a little over a couple weeks ago now. It's a cool I guess we kind of have a similar style as in it feels like we're an older person trapped inside a younger person, I
Yeah.
guess.
Yeah.
So she's really cool. She's got good vibrato and good vibe, and
Oh, very cool.
she's playing Tommy's guitars and like her kind of natural tone kind of mixed with mine well, because she's using a couple of Tommy's guitars that have a hotter bridge pickup, and I use a fairly low output pickup. So
Yeah.
it's all been matching up really, really well. So
Good. So
they
you kind of
seem to,
complement each other in that way.
yeah, yeah. And it was
Cool.
pretty, they made it pretty simple guitar wise because they just, Tommy sent out who does what part, who does what solo, who does this, each thing, and sent out a Pro Tools session with the stem. So it was, you just isolate the part to learn. And then kind of once I learned my part, then I muted my part in the stems and then played along with hers. So then when we played together, it was just right off the bat.
Wow.
So
Now, working something like that, does that give you a little bit of later on when you're at the show doing the actual performance? Does it allow you to have a little bit of play at all? I mean, does he go, okay, so maybe in here we'll have a little freedom. You can do a little something, or is it pretty much down the line?
there's a couple spots where he was like, yeah, just kind of do your
Cool.
thing, and there's going to be kind of this little, I don't want to say too much, but like guitar solo-y kind of
Right. Right.
section
Mm-hmm.
and of the show, and but mostly, I mean, just me myself learning this stuff. I'm like, well, the solos are good to begin with, so why would I change them? You know,
Right.
why would I play something, you know, because what's there is already good. So why would I play something that's less good than that?
Right.
Uh, or, you know, I mean, good is subjective, of course.
Or
So
just what I mean, it is. I get what you're saying.
I'm also a fan of doing stuff like the recording. So he changed up a
Mhm.
bunch of the songs kind of for live too,
Oh,
but
really?
but still a lot of the leads are like the leads from the songs.
Yeah.
Which he had a quite incredible guitar player named I think also named Tommy. Tommy.
Okay.
I should be prepared with this, but
Oh, it's okay. I'm you and me both. I'm just kind of like,
Tommy Tommy Denander,
oh, okay. All
and
right.
that's who played guitar on the record. Tommy apparently didn't play guitar. He might have played bass on a couple songs, and
Okay.
then Chris Wise played bass on a couple songs.
Okay.
Uh,
Because in the other photo that I have, there's two women,
yes,
and then so when was what iteration is that?
I guess because Glenn Sobel played drums on the
Mhm.
recordings, but then in the music videos, he had this female drummer named Tuesday,
Okay.
which Tuesday and I were in the same band, but at different times. She played in
Huh.
this band that I played with a while back called Knee High Fox, but she
Okay.
was in it prior to myself playing with that. So we were in the same band, but had never like played together. And then we still haven't played together because we really just did a bunch of music videos together. So we've kind of played together, but not for real.
Right.
Um, and yeah, so when it came to these shows, and then we did a couple more music videos where there was somebody else on drums because
Mhm.
Tuesday was out of town, and I think Glenn wasn't around, or I don't know, maybe he didn't want to bug Glenn with the videos. I'm not sure what the reasoning was.
Huh.
But when it came to the shows, he's like, well, Glenn played on the record, so he's just like, I want it to be just, you know, Glenn and Chris and Tommy. So you got like uh, th- uh, three three sevenths maybe of
Yeah.
the Hollywood Vampires band, which is pretty rad, and almost half of the Alice Cooper band because of Tommy and Glenn, and then Chris
Right.
Wise subs in on bass with Alice Cooper when
Yeah.
the regular bass player Chuck Garrett is not available. So
Oh, is that right? Okay. Yeah.
just
Yeah.
monster players, man. It's just so cool to work with people like that, and the whole crew that Tommy has surrounded around this show. He brought in. Um, he was just out on this tour with Rob Zombie and
Mhm.
Filter, and he brought in some crew from Ministry. He brought in some of the crew from Filter. A lot of these people that I actually kind of already knew prior,
Hmm.
and everybody just surrounding the thing is so pro. So it's really nice to work in a situation and an atmosphere like that.
Yeah. Now, I have to also think of how fortunate um, uh, it is for you to be doing this now, because it seems as though a lot of these guys who are doing music that is kind of off of the things that you grew up listening to and playing, and that I enjoyed with the hair metal stuff, and even just with the hard rock stuff. Forget the hair
Yeah,
part, you know,
yeah,
because these bands were great. Some of these bands got caught up in the hair metal thing, and they were just great bands already, and could do so much more, like Winger, and bands like that. But I think it's really fortunate that these guys have a lot of them have a better business sense of how to run this and how to do it, and and let's face it, as they say, the music industry isn't what it was.
well, they especially somebody like Tommy, he's been involved with Alice Cooper for the last like
Yes.
13 or 14 years,
Hmm.
so he's got a standard of how he wants stuff to run.
Hmm.
So it's just it's cool, man. And yeah, I'm very fortunate to be a part of it. I'm very grateful to have gotten linked up with Tommy. We got connected through our mutual friend of Albane for leather, and Albane is a staple in the Los Angeles Hollywood scene here of doing a lot of people's clothing and making guitar straps. I've got a bunch of his guitar straps that I use exclusively on my guitars, and which Tommy does as well. So we had met a number of years ago, probably 5 or 6 years ago. And I was supposed to maybe sell some gear for Tommy, like he was coming in town, and then it didn't really end up happening. He ended up just kind of dumping a bunch of it at Guitar Center, which then I ended up buying one of the guitars. Actually, I went to Guitar Center and I was like, oh, I think that's Tommy's. And so, but yeah, that's really kind of how it linked up. And then I guess it's a couple years ago at this point, he was doing his first videos, and Albane had called me and he was like, oh, what's the number of the bass player guy that you were just playing with Dorothy or whatever? And I was like, oh, well, why? What are you looking for? He's like, well, Tommy needs a bass player for his music videos. And I was sitting here in this room and I'm like, I got a bass right there.
There you go.
I just sent him a picture that he sent to Tommy, and then Tommy called me like no more than 60 seconds later and was like, wow, dude, you're a guitar player. Like, why would you? I'm like, it's a music video. I can learn the bass.
Yeah.
So I can make it look like I play bass. Because you're acting, basically, I guess, right? So,
well, I know I'm acting when I play bass. So,
and then we did those couple videos. One of those came out. One of them he decided to try something different on, and then when it came around to do more videos, which at this point I don't even know how many are out right now, but there's a bunch. He called me and he was like, hey, I want you to do it, but I want you to be on guitar. You and he decided to go a different direction with his guitar player situation. And so and then he hit me up about these shows, and luckily November happened to be pretty free, so then this booked up the whole month just about, and now we have the 2 shows tomorrow and Thursday that are I just saw a post and just heard that they're sold out, so that's exciting too.
Just gonna ask you that because I had your post, one of your recent posts that was saying it's nearly sold out, and the tickets weren't that expensive, you said.
Yeah, Tommy wanted to make it cheap just for anybody to be able to, come. And I know there's a bunch of people coming in from out of town to see it because Tommy has a incredibly loyal fan base all over the world. And I know my parents are coming to see it. I know my uncle.
I was wondering about that.
Uncle is coming in town from Arizona to see it, and and it's 2 nights and it's a small club, and it should be really fun. I've played the Viper Room so many times.
That's what I was going to ask you. How many times have you played there?
I can't count.
Okay, all right.
So many times, because they also used to do a jam night thing there.
There you go.
That I participated in all the time. So it wouldn't even be possible for me to count the number of times I played the Viper. But I can say my first gig ever in LA, just about actually 11 years ago, almost to this time, 11 years ago, like a week ago, was at the Viper Room. So,
good Lord. Okay, so that made you how old at that time?
18.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's wild, man. Because that's pretty much where we met, is doing open jam things here.
Yeah.
And you were so young. Of course, maybe that's just because I'm so old. I don't know. It's one of the two.
I mean, I was, that was before I moved here. So I moved here when I was 18 to Los Angeles, and but yeah, man, it's a really fun project, really fun show. The set's flowing really good. It's nice because we're all on in-ear monitors, so the mix has stayed super consistent and it's saved. So when the crew sets up the stage tomorrow, should come in for sound check and it should sound pretty much like it's supposed to sound. This is my first gigs ever not using an amp. So that's pretty, well, I shouldn't say, I've done one other gig where I couldn't use an amp. So,
Okay. All right.
and I've used a Kemper recording with Faster Pussycat, but this is my first time using a Kemper Live because that's what Tommy wanted us to use.
Okay.
He wanted us to use his rig and his stuff basically, and he uses Kemper's Live with Alice Cooper and Hollywood Vampires. And me being a gear guy, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tube amps staring at me right here.
Wow.
I was a little kind of unsure, but honestly the tone he's got dialed in, and then I kind of tweaked it some. It really kind of feels like an amp, and it sounds like an amp, and it sounds really good. And I've got a couple other analog pedals just to make me feel comfortable.
Right. You got to feel grounded, right? Or else
Well,
you're just like,
it's like, the how it sounds is good, but just like, I don't know. There's something about, for me, just hitting on an overdrive pedal before a solo that, like, I know the patch already has more gain on it, but it's just like, it's the act of, sorry, there's a guitar string on the floor. It's the act,
how's
of
that happen at a
physically,
guitarist's house?
it's the act of physically hitting the pedal that makes me feel like a person. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. It puts the meat into the feeling. It's what it is for you.
Yeah.
I hear you. I didn't start using a pedal until this. I mean, I've had pedals in the past, but I haven't ever worked with them enough for it to help me. Just didn't have the time, didn't make the time, whatever it was. But now I use one, and I'll be playing more with it as the time goes on, because I've been doing a remodel to the house, so we haven't had a lot of gigs lately. But that's going to pick up in 2025 once we're done with this, and I can get back to a normal life.
Nice.
Especially because our kitchen is completely almost empty.
Oh.
So no sink, it's just a fridge and an oven.
Oh gosh.
And the oven's not plugged in right now, so thank God the fridge is. So that's good.
Nice.
Yeah. So so now where do you think you land with this for the future? I mean, are there going to be more gigs with this, or is it a situation where, if you're not available, they'll have somebody else?
I don't know. We're not there yet, but the plan is to do more. That's why all the work has been put in these last 2 weeks, so really spent a lot of time on the songs myself, and then rehearsing, and Tommy putting together the in-ear rig and the setup and all this stuff. The plan is to definitely do this more next year. So what's happening here? My schedule is gonna, I don't know. Again, it just kind of depends what happens. If something really cool were possible for this band, which that is extremely possible and on the table, just because of Tommy being who he is. I would have to consider that over other things. So, but hopefully, my hope is just being able to still continue to juggle Dorothy and Faster Pussycat and Budderside and this Crossbone Skully. So,
I mean, that's a lot.
It's a lot.
And
then sometimes other stuff too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean,
those are the main things that I try to uphold, but then there's other things that come in from time to time. Like I got the opportunity to do a gig with the drummer Vinny Appice about a month ago.
Yeah, I think I got a photo from that.
That was
there you go. Well, this is an older one.
That's old. That's old.
Yeah. But you had a post that you did where you had a setup.
Yeah.
It was set up for it. Hang on, I'll get there. No. Here, this post.
Yeah, that's the one. That's his drum kit. Yeah.
Yeah. He is a super cool guy.
Yes, he is, and one of my favorite drummers of all time.
Amen to that.
Just to get to play some of those songs with him that I grew up playing at Charlac all the time. Like, I mean, if I had $1 for the amount of times I played Rainbow in the Dark, I feel like I would own the house that I live in. You
and me both.
You know, so, and I know that's it's just, that music is just so incredible. So get to play some of those songs with the guy who played in Sabbath and was a part of those Dio songs. It was really, really cool.
Yeah. I think Mob Rules was my first Black Sabbath album that I owned, that I went and bought the vinyl, because I heard Turn Up the Night was what they played on the radio station where I lived. And I'm like, okay, I need to buy that.
That's the song we opened with. Yeah, we did that one. We did Mob Rules, and we did half of Sign of the Southern Cross from that album.
Yeah. I mean, it's a brilliant record. Could have been recorded better, or there was something about the final sound on it, because I think that was a Martin Birch album.
Well, maybe Tony Iommi has been doing all kinds of re-releases, so who knows, maybe there'll be something in store for that. He just redid or re-released and remastered a bunch of the Tony Martin Sabbath stuff, and
that stuff's great too.
Yeah.
Tony Martin was amazing. I mean, and then have you ever heard the stuff that Ray Gillen did that Tony Martin would end up recording for the final album, for his first one? Because Ray Gillen was
probably
from Badlands, and then when you listen to his, because they have them out there, I've got them on CD over there, but when you listen to those and then you listen to Tony Martin's version, you're like, Tony Iommi must have just gone, this is the way he did it, I want it to be like this, and that was it. Because he even has some of Ray's inflections on that album. It's kind of interesting.
Sorry, give me a sec. I'm sorry.
No,
I hate to do this.
You're good. You're good. I'm just going to put up a couple of these things while you're doing that. So here is the debut live shows of Crossbone Skully at the Viper Room here. So there you go. Doors at 8. And then, Amber Wild is going to be there. We saw Amber Wild here in St. Louis opening for Kiss.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
I met
Paul Stanley's son.
Paul Stanley's son. I met Evan yesterday.
That's awesome. Yeah, I met them. They were nice enough to go out on the outer rim after their gig, and I went out there and met up with them and was talking to them about being on the show. So
nice. And they different drummer than he had then, but now he has this drummer named Kyle Hughes, who is a badass drummer. Wow. He plays with Budderside sometimes when our regular drummer is not available. Wow. Like Kyle and I just played together on last Friday, and but Kyle also plays in Richie Kotzen's band now too. So he is a beast of a drummer and amazing singer as well.
Wow, that's really cool. I have a friend of mine from here. He's one of the best drummers out of St. Louis. I will just simply say that. But he is the same. He's got this killer voice and just amazing. I don't know if you know Joe Kingsbury.
I don't.
You know Guy Kingsbury.
But I was going to say, I know that last name.
It's his son. And he lives over in Columbia now. But man, killer. We had a band together, and I came downstairs. He was the first one here, and he's down here playing Pull Me Under with nothing. He's just playing all the drum parts. I'm just like,
nice.
Okay. And then if you hear him sing, he just kicks ass. It's amazing.
Oh, that's awesome.
Just amazing. I'm going to put this up too. There's just another one there. So that's nice. $15. So yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So Amber Wild and then Ringo's Car. What is that?
Ringo's Car is they do some Beatles songs, and it's
Okay.
some of the staff from the Viper Room.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's a few of the guys that work there.
That's cool. Wow.
Yeah.
So is there anybody just I have a couple of real quick questions and then I can let you get rolling. But is there anyone that just down the line or maybe somebody's connected with you that you were like you couldn't do it at the time, but you're like, oh damn it. Have you gotten a call from somebody to do some work? And you're like, I just
That I
can't.
wasn't able to do.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've made most things happen so
Wow, that's
far.
great.
Trying to think. There might have been like Dorothy had possibly come up
Mhm.
when I had first gone out with Faster Pussycat a little over 5 years ago. So I was on my first tour, but then
Yeah.
that gig ended up coming back around, and now I've been with her for a little over like 4 years now. So
Okay.
um, I don't know if I'd have to. I can't really. There's nothing coming to mind
Okay.
that I had to kind of pass on.
Well, and that's the kind of beauty of that's why I say now you have a little bit of more responsibilities than just hi, I'm the guitar player. You do what are your different is there other responsibilities that you have in say Faster Pussycat?
Yeah, I mean, so in different situations, it's all different. So yeah, Faster Pussycat is probably where I have the most responsibility, and where that entails um, starting with making sure the rest of the band are playing the songs right,
Okay.
and then doing some silly kind of promotional videos for the shows. We always kind of do that. I do
Okay.
all the posts for the band on social media. um, Involves kind of recording and working with Tammy Down, the singer, which the last flash on my phone was him just sending me the most recent version of the new song that we're working on.
Awesome.
Um, and so yeah, a lot more. Or then when we're on tour, handling the VIP experience that we've started doing, the little
Okay.
sound check hang and those things. Um, what else do I handle? There's probably more, but
Yeah.
that's off the top of my head. And
Right.
then the other reason I've been having to check my phone is my singer from Budderside. We're working on a new song, so trying to whip up a tune real quick to
Yeah.
do this collaboration with a singer from a band that we really dig and went and saw the other night. And
Oh, okay.
so
Wow.
um, the responsibility there is getting to be creative, which is very nice to get to do. I love to sit and try to come up with something.
Oh yeah.
And
Yeah.
and then with Dorothy, my responsibility is pretty much to kind of play guitar.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
I got to play on uh, the new record some, which is coming out next year.
Okay.
And then my responsibilities here with Crossbone Skully has basically exclusively been play guitar
Yeah. Yeah. That which is kind
so
of
far.
it's
So
kind
far,
of nice,
yeah. I
when
mean, it's
you're juggling.
well, it's nice when you're getting paid to do your one job, as opposed
Yes.
to you're getting paid to do your one job, and then, oh, by the way, here's 7 different things to do too.
Try these hats on too.
Yeah,
And
it's a
then see if you can wear them all at once.
certain things like that. It's like, you do know that, like, whoever's your musical director usually gets paid a little more, or like
Mhm.
this or that, or just, but
Mhm.
there's little things that kind of in the rock world that just kind of uh get overlooked. But
Yeah, and
you know,
yeah, those that's the reason that I put there paying the dues, right?
yeah,
Because that
it's
all,
also it,
could have come into play.
yeah, it's also been, which I can't stress enough, because it's been, at least for me, 11 years of
Mhm.
kind of grinding and working just to get to this point, which I'm very grateful to have a few projects and have some have everybody be understanding about working with the schedules and working with various things all at once. But yeah, I kind of have to, there's another couple people that I know that just moved to LA that I'm just like kind of stressing. It's like you're doing well. It's like you're not just going to not for everybody. Some people just kind of some people like it's really a cool and interesting thing with Crossbone Skully that he found Anna through Instagram. But she's also incredibly talented and like really cool. And these are actually her first gigs. I don't know if that's like appropriate for me to say or not, or if they've actually said that. But so for everybody, I can't even really remember my first gigs, but they weren't playing at the Viper Room, playing with playing with Glenn Sobel and Tommy Hendrickson and Chris Wise. So my first gig was probably like I know I played at like a hot dog joint and played at but before that was might have been like a rock camp thing. Or like first gig outside of a rock camp was maybe some like I don't know. I know we played water parks. Like there was all kinds of stuff, when I was a kid. So
yeah, I remember playing my first gig. My first two gigs ended up being on the same weekend. I was scared shitless. I just as an older dude playing these gigs, I was just like, uh-oh, here we go. And I have a stigma to frickin' All Right Now by Free as a bass player because guys started into it and I'm like, I don't have my 4-string on right now, and that's what I have to use to play that song. I was playing my 5. I'm like, dude, I gotta change guitar. I'm not ready for this yet. And then I was totally flustered and screwed up the bass line, and it was terrible. I was just like, whatever, man. It's terrible. But that's one of those songs that at open jams, I'll look at bass players. I'm like, play something there, because while the guitar is just going bam, 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 I'm like, there's all that room to go to do 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 do, whatever. And they're all looked at me like, no, there's no bass there. I'm like, no shit.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's also it's also about the space.
Yeah. I'm like, give them something a little different. It's a jam. Have fun.
Yeah.
They don't have to hear it like the record at an open jam. Have fun with it. So, but nobody ever takes me up on it. I'm just like, whatever, I'll do it then. So, so now, then lastly, I just want to make sure that I'm promoting everything that you do. You've mentioned them a few times. You got Budderside, how do you describe that music? It is totally worth checking out, folks. So get out there, Budder side.
SID, yeah. How would I describe it? It's hopefully, at least I hope they're cool riffs. Hopefully cool songs. Hopefully there's something catchy to it. We just put out our record called White Flame, and that came out back in July.
Thank you for mentioning that, because I was going to ask you that when it actually came out. I know it was this year, and
yeah, it came out in July. A lot of the songs, we've kind of been periodically releasing the songs for the last 3 years or so, but now it's finally out. There's a full length with 12 songs, and I'm really proud of how all of it turned out, but especially the final 4 songs that we did for it, which those 4 songs are called, there's one called 1,000 Teardrops, there's one called Evil, there's one called Black River, and there's one called White Flame. And the way those all turned out, I couldn't be happier with them. And I couldn't be happier with the whole record. Well, that's nice. And it's so that's it's kind of, I don't know, it's heavy. It is heavy riffs. There's some melodic stuff. There's You know, it's heavy, but not too heavy,
Mm-hmm.
I would think, because, you know, I'm not like a super heavy guy, but at the same time, like, you know, love Sabbath and Alice in Chains, and so
Right.
there's always trying to work that element into things,
Yes. Yeah.
or just trying to come up with a riff that sounds kind of different or interesting. Something that I would like, I guess, first. It's always kind of
Right.
starts a little selfish and then show it to the other guys to see if they like it. Um,
I've always,
and then if everybody likes it, then you show it to the producer, and then if
yeah.
he likes it, then we make it a song.
Okay, there you go. And you have some really cool, interesting album covers too on these.
Yeah, there's a lot of thought went into all the artwork, and for anybody, it was released through a Japanese record label, so that's currently where it's available, but we're working on trying to do
Okay.
some kind of vinyl for it, because also each song has its own artwork that a lot of time was spent on. So even with the new songs in the lyric booklet, there's the artwork and the lyrics for every song.
That's cool. I've really enjoyed that over the years. Symphony X has done that, and there's been other bands that do that. I think Wayward Sons even did that with some of their stuff, and
Nice.
it's really cool. Really cool. I know I've got others that are like that too. I think Nightwish maybe is one of those as well. But
Nice.
it's cool. It's neat. 2016 was the first one. 2021, is that right?
I think so.
2016.
Well, 2000, that was prior to me, so I'm gonna believe you.
That was prior to you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna believe you.
And you hopped in on you hopped in and been on White Flame and Power Hour. Were you on that one?
Yeah. So, well, I played on the second record, which is called Spiritual Violence. So
Spiritual Violence. Okay, cool.
I played all on that and kind of, you know, wrote some solos and stuff. But then everything from White Flame is what we've been putting out for the last couple of years, and
cool.
now is so that's what I'm involved with writing. And then Power Hour I wrote as well. But we
Cool.
did that for a TV show that with Matt Penfield and Josh Bernstein and Katie Babbs, and it was on Access TV for the last little while.
Huh.
Yeah,
Got
so
it.
they asked us to do the theme song, and sat here in this chair and tried to cook up something.
That's there's moments where I don't know, maybe you didn't have it, but I mean there's that moment where you're like, okay, no, that's not it. That's not it.
There was plenty of that before that song.
Yeah.
And then it's like suddenly kind of stumbled upon the three parts of that song, and it was like, oh, that's it. I was sitting in here for a while working on that. And then other ones were fairly quick. You know, there's a song on the record called Never Worth It that really didn't change too much from how I wrote it. There's the Thousand Teardrops didn't change all that much, even though that's a pretty crazy complicated song.
It looks like you've got Good for Nothing.
That one didn't change too much either.
Voices. Never Worth It. The Truth. And you mentioned Evil. Now that's EVOL.
Love backwards.
Gotcha. Look at that. There you go.
Yeah. And you mentioned The Truth. The Truth is one that we wrote kind of, that song came out in, I'm not joking, like 10 minutes.
Wow.
We wrote that in the studio, and that one came together really quick. But then there's a song like Joker, where the music for that I had sitting around for years.
Isn't that great?
A long time.
Yeah. That's where I say everything happens for a reason, and everything happens when it should.
Yeah, that demo I think was, I just name them by numbers. That was like song 54, and I think I'm on song 158 now. So
wow,
that's how long ago that was. That doesn't mean they're all good. Just some of them turn out to be Good for Nothing, or A Thousand Teardrops, or Never Worth It, or Joker, but the rest of them are just sitting here seeing if like, well, maybe I'll pull that part out, and then if I come
There
up
you
with
go.
another part, it'll end up being a thing.
Yeah, I did that with a friend of mine. He had written 2 parts. He had written the song and then he wrote a riff. And I said, "You know what? You need to take that riff, that style, and you need to play that song like this riff and maybe incorporate this riff." Because he's like, "It's a real Van Halen kind of riff." And I'm like, "Well, cool." I'm like, "Why don't you make that song, take the chords and everything from that and play it like this?" And
Yeah,
he said, "I went home and I must have worked on it for 3 hours and I love it. It was so cool." I was like,
nice,
there you go. There you go.
nice.
But yeah, you have gaslighting or ghostlighting. I mean, ghostlighting, Black River, Too Far, Ain't All Right, and White Flame. White Flame being the longest track. This is a brilliant record, I think, because I've been talking a lot about this with, song lengths and things like that. And I think sometimes it's nice to have these 3-minute and some second songs.
Well, that's what we, at least with a lot of those songs, we were trying to do like single length. But then on a couple of them, White Flame, especially, we're kind of like, we're getting towards the end. It's like, we want some stuff that's kind of like longer,
Yeah.
So be able to have a couple guitar solos where myself and the other guitar player could do a,
Yeah.
guitar solo, whereas opposed to like the singles, when we first started working with the producer Matt Good, he kind of really wasn't a big guitar solo guy.
Oh, yeah.
Um,
Okay.
he works with bands like Asking Alexandria and Butcher Babies, and I guess a lot of bands that didn't really do guitar solos. But we went there and kind of did the first group of songs, the first 4 songs, like 3 years ago, I guess.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, the next Asking Alexandria album that came out had a bunch of guitar solos all over it. I'm like, maybe maybe we got him into doing some guitar solos.
You know what
And
the song needs? A guitar solo.
yeah, so now I think pretty much every song has one, other than Never Worth It, but it didn't really need it. It has this kind of low vocal and guitar melody thing
Okay.
going back and forth on the last chorus. And
Yeah.
that's the thing, it's just kind of like, if it needs it or not. But obviously as a guitar player, it's a big thing to try to, have that musical stamp in there to
Yeah.
be able to, do that for 20 seconds or whatever
Yeah.
it is. So
Yeah. Because you were kind of coming up in your career early on in your playing and then into your career during a time where, yeah, they weren't doing a lot of solos,
yeah, but I've always liked them. Like when there is one, it's like, oh, guitar
Mhm.
solo. So
Yeah.
um, at least for me with my band, with that band's music, it's
Mhm.
it was important to more than just me. Everybody else kind of, they're like, well, we want guitar solos in it too. So
Mhm.
um,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it's interesting that bands, like I'm not I'm not a Smashing Pumpkins fan. I just I don't dig Billy's voice. I just, but I get the guitar playing and how I couldn't believe it when I pulled up the YouTube video of him shredding. I was like, "What?" I'm like, "What? This is wild." You
Nice.
know. Have you seen any of that kind of stuff or
I don't really, I haven't seen.
okay? Because
No.
it's totally. I mean, it's totally different. It's just wild.
Nice.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy. Like Brad Paisley playing Eddie Van Halen on stage.
Really
Yeah. Yeah, he does Hot for Teacher. There's videos about him of him out there doing Hot for Teacher.
nice.
Yeah. Yeah, he's a killer guitar player. Um, and then real quick, how would you
Yeah.
describe your work, what the music is with Dorothy? How did you get in with that? It just you play in that band. You're like you said, you may be recording with them.
I did, yeah. I did actually on her last record. I'm on a couple
Okay,
songs, and then
cool.
on the new record, I'm on a good bulk of the songs.
All right, cool.
Um, and yeah, the her stuff has always kind of been a bit bluesy rock, I guess.
Yeah.
That's very much how it is in the live sense. There's a lot
Okay.
of jams and extended solos and stuff live, but the new record is pretty heavy. She's got 2 songs out from it now. The first single was called Mud, and I
Yes.
did some talk box and some things on
Sweet.
that. And then
The Devil
the
You Know?
Devil
Or
You
Devil I
Know.
Know? The
Devil
Devil
I
I
Know.
Know.
Yeah. And did some little things on that too.
Very
And
cool.
they're both quite a bit heavier than her previous stuff. And
Okay.
the rest of the songs coming are there's some stuff that's even heavier than those songs, and stuff that's a little lighter than those songs. So
Yeah.
uh,
Huh.
it's cool. Anytime she opens her voice and sings, it's just incredible. So
Man.
love that situation. Love playing with those players as well. And it was really great to um, get pulled in to play on the new record and work with her producer Scott Stevens, who's an incredible songwriter producer.
Wow.
He was in a band called the X's, which is
Okay.
kind of they've been making a comeback. They put out an EP and just did a couple reunion shows.
Wow.
But he's also written and worked on albums with Hailstorm and Shinedown and
Wow.
Daughtry, and like he's just so great. So it was really a really great experience to spend 3 days with him, throwing some
Wow.
guitar solos and some layers on top of the songs he did with Dorothy. So
Man. And I see Dorothy's done she has a track on that Nita Strauss album.
yeah, uh, that song was actually written by Circle Back Around by Tommy Hendrickson. And
Wow.
that's yeah, he's had that song for quite a long time, and then he gave it to Nita, and Nita got Dorothy to sing on it. So
That's outstanding. Okay, yeah. All right. Well, yeah, get out there and check out Dorothy and check out Budderside. And how are we looking for Faster Pussycat? You mentioned you were talking about a new song. How's everything looking? Is it looking like just some songs?
yeah, I mean at the moment, and then eventually it'll be a record with all the songs together. But that's have to call Tammy back because he was just telling me
Hmm.
uh, kind of what the plan was for the next song, the one before this other one. There's one coming before that, and
Okay.
he was kind of starting to tell me what the plan was, and then he had to jump off the phone, and then he called me back right as we were getting on here. So
I
um,
gotcha.
I don't know. I it's coming early next year sometime
Okay.
for sure. It just kind of depends coordinating with the label and getting vinyl done because he wants to do the vinyl for the next single, which is called Motorbike. But that
Wow.
one's been done for a little while, and then we're working on one right now called Pretty Ugly, which is about a club, um, a night of the week that Tammy had in the early 2000s.
Hmm.
So he
Wow.
had the Cat House back in the day, but in the early
Right.
2000s, he had a club, uh, a night here in LA that was at a club called the Dragonfly,
Hmm.
and that was so that song is about that time there.
That's cool. Wow. Sounds perfect. Um, yeah, because I see anything that's out here on Spotify, I see that like, Like a Ghost, Pirate Love, and NOLA, these are 22 and 21 and 22. So
Yeah,
yeah. Well,
yeah,
good. I know
it's
there's
just it's a
yeah,
s- it's a s- it's a slow process, but
yeah.
it's happening. So
Well, that's good
um,
because you guys did a great show, and it's like if you can couple that with some new music, like a lot of people are doing, um, and I get it. It's got to be good. You want it to be good, and um,
yeah, and Tammy, that's just how he works, and he likes to spend a lot of time
hmm,
on a song, just making sure that every detail of it is, what he wants to have
yeah,
out there,
yeah,
forever. So, which I think there's something cool about that for sure. It'd definitely be cool to be able to do some stuff. Uh,
yeah.
he works at his own pace. So that's
Hmm.
just, I think the result of it, as we've seen with the Nola and Like a Ghost, those,
Hmm.
um, I like his method. You know, we make sure that everything's right, and you know, the one we're working on right now, we all just did some vocals on it. We're waiting for a keyboard player to play some keys and stuff, a buddy of ours, and kind of see where that takes the song, and then we might add some other guitar stuff, but like the bulk of the song is kind of shaping up. And yeah, but Motorbike's been done for a little while, and that will come out like February or March. I was here in March, kind of when we were on the phone for a second, just because of vinyl timing. So like they're getting on that. So
Gotcha. Yeah, it's been interesting. I've talked to some folks about vinyl, and you know, what seems to be wrong with some and okay with others and great with others, and you know, these kind of things. So it's an interesting business right now, and everything. It's too expensive as far as I'm concerned.
yeah,
I think somewhere down the line in about 5 years, there's going to be a bunch of cutouts, you know, just like back in the day, and that's when I'll be buying a lot more. I've purchased some, but you know, it's getting out of hand. I wanted to get that new Priest album. It was like $50 for the version that I wanted to get.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I get it, but I get it, but I don't know. I don't know if everybody gets it. I'm not going to do that for one record. I can't do it. I just, unless I'm doing it to collect it, and then what's the use in that?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just kind of weird. Now, before I let you go totally though, and we discuss a couple of things backstage, what is a few of your favorite Mutt Lange produced records in the past?
I mean, definitely the AC/DC stuff.
Yeah,
definitely. You know, he did some stuff with Bryan Adams, right? So
yeah.
That'd have to be. I mean, Def Leppard, of course, is great too.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, Bryan Adams is in the pop section, but one of the ones that kind of threw me to think back on is Cars, Heartbeat City.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they'd been working with Roy Thomas Baker all the way up until that album came out, and then they worked with Mutt Lange and killed it commercially. Just they were everywhere. But here's one for you.
Yeah, Mike, I gotta like I need to look just because there's so many, and just to like be able to answer properly.
Yeah, right. There was I'll tell you what, if you haven't ever checked out City Boy, check him out. He produced them.
Okay.
And you know, I don't even think I finished the story with this new friend of mine that I met last night. But it was Mutt Lange worked with them, and that's where I first heard of City Boy, when I was at a department store called, well, it was Venture, and I was in their cutout section, and I pulled up The Day the Earth Caught Fire, and I'm like, what the hell is this? This cover is amazing. And I flip it over, and the picture of the band looks cool, and I read produced by Robert John Mutt Lange. I'm like, oh, I'm buying this, and fell in love with it. And in that band was Mike Slamer on guitar. Then Mike Slamer would go on to be in Streets with Steve Walsh when he was out of Kansas, and Billy Greer on bass. And then Steve Walsh and Billy Greer would go back together because Dave Hope left Kansas. But then it's my understanding from a good source that that's when Hysteria was being made, and Mutt Lange needed a guitar player to help because those guys were messed up, and it was not a good time for them. And so he brought in Mike Slamer to do that, a big chunk of that album, the guitars. So
nice.
So that's a good reason to check out City Boy. Start with The Day the Earth Caught Fire. It's really, really killer. It's 1979. Nice. But did you find a list?
I mean, I still have to just go with, I mean, if you're asking my favorite, just AC/DC. You know, that's.
Yeah, those are great. Those 3 albums in a row. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah. Yeah, just freaking amazing.
There was a night a few years ago, around when Malcolm Young passed
Yeah.
away,
Yeah.
and they did a Malcolm night, and I was the house band guitar player for the night, and
Wow.
ended up doing like 9 or 10 of the songs, but like it was so much fun to really kind of go and learn that stuff, as opposed to just like learning it enough to play at Charlotte and whatnot, but like really kind of going and trying to get the
Yeah.
vibe of the stuff, and um, as opposed to also just kind of just casually listening. So yeah,
Yes, absolutely.
for
Did
sure.
you play For Those About to Rock? That's my favorite.
I don't think I did that one.
Interesting.
I don't think I did that one. It was
Okay.
well, because there was a lot of guitar players on the nights.
Oh, I got you.
This
Right,
is
right,
this is
right.
quite a few years ago too, but
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
I know I did Rock and Roll Ain't Noise Pollution. I know I
Yeah.
did Walk All Over You,
God, that's
and
great.
Night
Love it.
Prowler.
Night
And
Prowler.
yeah, man.
And what do you know what TV show that they spoof at the end of that song?
No,
Mork and Mindy.
I'm not sure what that is.
Right. I love it. Yeah, it's an old spin-off. It was a goofy spin-off with Robin Williams from it was a spin-off from Happy Days.
Nice.
And right at the end of the album of Highway to Hell, he goes, Shazbat Nanu Nanu. And then he goes, bam, with the guitar. And it's at the end of Night Prowler. What a great song. That's one of my songs that I put on my list of Halloween tunes.
Nice.
Halloween rock and roll tunes. Yeah, he did Wake Up the Neighbors by Bryan Adams. And he did The Cores. And then he also did a Billy Ocean piece too. And a Graham Parker album. I did not know that. And a Lady Gaga. Well, and he produced Hands All Over by Maroon 5. Okay. There you go.
Ah,
Even so I think we
man.
hit on them though. I think we hit,
yeah.
you know, High and Dry is one of my all-time favorites.
Yeah.
That's great. I love Pyromania, but High and Dry, man. That was
Good
balls
stuff.
to the wall.
Good stuff.
Yeah, really good stuff. All right, brother. Well, I'll let you roll. Willie, we'll have you back. I would really love to.
Yeah.
I'm going to, I'll ask you a quick question backstage and then, and I'll let you get rolling.
All right, man. Thank you very much. Yeah, I got a puppy that's crying out in the in the room. That's why man. I keep like I hear him going. I need to attend. Yep.
Yeah, otherwise there's going to be a lot of apologizing later. I know how it goes.
Yeah.
I know how it goes. Well, all right. Well,
thanks so much for having me, man.
Thank you, brother. And I will talk to you in just a second here. And you guys take it easy. And remember, when you step out your door every day, you're in everybody else's world. They're not in yours. So act accordingly and don't act a twit. So we will see you guys tomorrow. I've got some news in my feed right now. I'm going to try to see what's going on with that. I might have a special guest with me tomorrow. Take it easy, guys.
Can you dig it? Can you dig it?